beautiful soul. Today I want to speak to you about what to do when you can't feel positive, optimistic, and fun, enjoy all these positive feelings, or like inspiration, or like you see no way to through certain situation. What do you do in that moment? Okay, first of all, if you're not subscribed, if you're not following me, do that. Okay, so when you can't feel positive or optimistic or inspired or certain about things, in those moments, instead of forcing yourself to be positive, just build curiosity, lead with curiosity. Be like, it's interesting to see where God leads me now, how God leads me now. I want to see what God creates through this situation now. Recently, like right now, as I'm making this video, I have no food. Like in the past few days, I had no money, and I was just like, the food that I had, and I was just in my like lentils, rice, and I could get the bananas or apples so that I can eat the porridge and all of that. But now it was like last night I was writing, journaling. God, I'm gonna be very vulnerable. I really thought that I'm not gonna talk about it, but I was like, I was journaling and I was visualizing the positive outcome, but I couldn't. I was like, I've been manifesting this from so long, and I feel tired, I feel disappointed, but I didn't wanted to go to sleep with that kind of mindset. So I was like, it's very interesting. I want to see, I'm curious to see how God leads me through this. I'm curious to see what God does do in my business now. I'm curious to see how God leads me now. And this is very intense. It's like I was feeling so shameful also to come up and share all of this and to show up, but now I am, and this is what happened. Like God led me to not be shameful and to show up and be vulnerable when I wanted to hide, you know so definitely. And I started last night, before sleeping, instead of forcing myself to be positive and all of that, I was just like curious. I was like, let me see how this all turns out, let me see how God feeds me, leads me, how God, just how God, like makes me, this is how I say it, how God makes sure that I'm well fed, well dressed, well rested, and all of my bills paid before time. And I just want to see how God creates that positive momentum through this situation. And curiosity was the way. Instead of going completely negative and letting the negative scenarios, worst case scenarios hijack me, or like forcing myself to be, because we want to create a middle way when we are in situations like this. Forcing ourselves to be positive does not work, and at the same time we can't be letting ourselves be hijacked and frozen by negative feelings and fears and all of those things. So midway is the curiosity. I want to see how God leads me. I want to see, like, even if I feel the pain right now, how God brings fun in this situation, how God brings the positive momentum in this situation, or what God creates through this situation. It should, it could be feeling the grief. Sometimes the positive momentum in a certain situation is feeling the pain, feeling the grief, and feeling the sadness. So this is very interesting way and attitude to approach to have when you are going through times like when you feel like things don't work out the way you wanted them to be, or like, yeah, just creating that middle ground, and it just opens you up. So when I was going for a walk also in the morning with my dog, and when I was coming back, I had this child call me, Jyoti, come let's paint. And I was like, cool. So when I was coming back to my, because I told her that I'm gonna be back with colors. So I came back home, and instead of taking all of my colors, I just took one black color. And the children were just, they're like, where are all the other colors and all of that? And I was like, listen, we are not gonna be uh, upset and sad and like complain about what we don't have. We have this black color, we're gonna get the white stones and we're gonna paint butterflies. I wish I could have recorded the video, man. It would be really interesting to show. So I was like, we have the black color, we're gonna find creative ways of making art with it. We're gonna make butterflies, flowers, and we're gonna paint on leaf, paint on walls and all of that. And it is really interesting that it's the path to success is making use of what you have and what you can create with what you have. When your focus is, that creative thinking, like, oh God, show me how can it work, God, show me how can it be done right now, how can it be, and it's like the creative possibilities, like the magical possibilities exist right now, so I want to see how God inspires me to make the money that I need right now, and to get the food, to pay my bills, and to feel stable. I want to see God, because I know it can be done right now. And I feel this inspiration because I felt I was like, I'm curious, and I was sad, and I was crying, and I was just like navigating everything. So now I feel the inspiration. Now I'm gonna journal about and like, everything for the solution. But okay, you can book a one-on-one intuitive guidance session with me for intuitive guidance right now that you need. And like, if you want to clear away limiting beliefs or some energy that has been, blocking your path recently, or like that is making you feel underconfident, or like convincing you to give up on your dreams or on yourself, or just, or like if there are some emotions that you have not been able to process, the heartbreak or since childhood, we can do that. And but if you want to dive much deeper and cultivate solid self love, become super confident, and unlock your creative gifts and become this most creative, authentic, vulnerable, empowered version of you, and start to go towards the life that God wants you to have, the fun, the joy, the fulfillment, deep emotional fulfilling life, that God wants you to have. But it's like something or the other is distracting you. Maybe it could be lack of self love, maybe it could be, inner child wounds, ancestral wounds. We're gonna work on that in my 12 weeks of mentorship. It's super powerful, and I am super excited to do this work with you because I love depth, I love diving deep, and it's just so much magic happens, with this deep work, and I really love it. Link of that is in my bio, and also you can donate for my rent, food, and bills. It will help me a lot. Link of that also is in my bio. Also, like last night after journaling, when I was like really sad and upset, God inspired me to watch a Barbie movie. And today morning when I saw like, oh my God, I thought that God, you will send me money, but I didn't receive money and all of that. I was like, I just took I did thought that I would have the energy and all, but I did have the energy to shower, to go for a walk, to dress up, because when we are going through the toughest times, we stop doing all these things, and I had this amazing porridge with some stewed bananas, and I really really pray that I get the money tonight so that I can, get my groceries. I feel calm, and my periods are also delayed because of the stressed, so I want to get my periods. I know God will make something work. I know, because I know with God you can't lose. With God you can't lose, and it's just, I know this. I know this, and God was just creating this situation because, yeah, maybe God want to show you, what God, and it inspires faith inside of you, as you are observing my journey and my videos and see me going through these different phases and rising above. It will do something for you, it will inspire you in positive ways. And yeah, that's what I feel that God's purpose is. But I know it's beautiful, I have full faith in God.